Welcome to Spec Showdown, the show where we take two hotkeys and throw them in the ring. But only one comic will be walking out. Who will survive the Spec Showdown?
Alright, hey everybody, it's Michael from Wahoo Comics, here with my buddy Marco from Swytch Comics, and we've got a new video series that we're starting today called Spec Showdown, where we are matching up certain comics against each other and asking which one of these are better investments. So I'm ready to get started. You ready, Marco?
I feel like you worded that so much better than what I did in my video. And can we go back and redo my video?
Sure, sure. Any part we want to redo.
Yeah. Round one. In the left corner, released in 1979. Written by Mark Wolfman with art from Keith Pollard and Frank Giacoia, and a cover from Al Milgrom. Coming in with a high-grade raw value of $650 and a graded 9.8 value of $4,500. We have the first appearance of Felicia Hardy, the Black Cat, Amazing Spider-Man 194. And in the right corner, released in 1980, written by Danny O'Neill with art from John Romita Jr., coming in with a high-grade raw value of $200 and a graded 9.8 value of $2,200. We have the first appearance of Madam Web, Amazing Spider-Man 210.
All right, so first up, we've got a good old-fashioned cat fight. If you've been watching my videos, you know I'm a big fan of Spider-Man, and so he had two awesome characters, female characters, debut near each other in the comics. Amazing Spider-Man 194, the first appearance of the Black Cat, and Amazing Spider-Man 210, the first appearance of Madam Web. Who wins as an investment?
This is another one I'm heavily biased on. But I think, even if I weren't, I think I have solid evidence to point towards my choice anyway. I love Black Cat. I actually have a 194 getting graded right now. I had another one, it was a 6.5. And I was like, you know what, I have two. I knew someone that wanted one, so I sold him that one. And then my other one is stuck in grading hell right now. So hopefully I'll see that back sometime soon, because I dearly miss that book. That being said, I think Black Cat is another one of those characters that is just due for her time. Because we haven't really got anything with it. You know, we had a little bit of a tease in the Amazing Spider-Man franchise. I mean, I guess technically she was there, but Black Cat wasn't there. You know, it was just Felicia. But we haven't got Black Cat. And again, there is the opportunity that Sony might reboot that universe, and maybe we will get a Black Cat. Maybe that'll end up being bad, because maybe that movie will suck. I don't know. But I feel like, again, Black Cat is surviving and growing just based on pure love of the character, while we've been seeing growth from Madam Web because of Spec. You know, a lot of rumors and you know, talking about her maybe popping up in the animated movies and maybe the real life movies and, you know, different things. So there's a lot of talk about her, and Black Cat's just over there kind of doing her own thing, and everybody's loving her for it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I'm Black Cat all the day, or all day? I don't know what I should have said, but you know what I mean, I think, hopefully.
Yeah, so I agree with you, especially if we're talking about long term, because her book has grown just very organically. And certainly some of it is speculating that she might be in a movie project in some way, but she is just so much more of an established character in the Spider-Man lore. And so regardless of whether she pops up in a movie anytime soon, I think that book's just going to continue to grow. But I will say, in the short term, I think I would maybe invest in 210, because it seems more likely that Madam Web is going to pop up in a movie soon. You know, it's supposedly, you know, she's been cast already. You know, I don't know if that can fall through or not, but I think she will be in leading a movie before Black Cat will. So I could see there be a big spike in the next year or two. And especially because nobody, if you're not a comic fan, especially, nobody in you know, regular person knows who Madam Web is. And so there could all of a sudden be an influx of interest in her, especially if that movie does well, which it is a Sony movie, so I don't have high hopes. But there could be a big drive of short-term interest in her that really causes that book to leap in price. And so short-term, maybe 210, but definitely over the long term, 194. And I'll put a sleeper pick 209, first appearance of Calypso, another lady who will probably be the romantic interest in the upcoming Craven movie. So if you're on more of a budget, 209 is a good one to be looking for.
You're bending the rules here, mister. We didn't agree to this.
You can edit that out if you need to.
No, it's all good. What kind of a crazy world is it that we're going to get a Madam Web before a Black Cat? This is a little ludicrous. Round 2. In the left corner, released in 2017, written by Kelly Thompson with art from Leonardo Romero, and a cover from Julian Totino Tedesco, with a raw value of $15 and a graded 9.8 value of $50. This is the first solo series of Kate Bishop, Hawkeye #1. And in the right corner, released in 2017, written by Brian Michael Bendis with art from Stefano Casilli, with a raw value of $25 and a graded 9.8 value of $150. We have the first solo series of Ironheart, Invincible Iron Man 1. Alright, so here we have two young, probably going to be female, not probably going to be female, probably going to be young Avengers. They are females, I can confirm you that. But they're probably going to be both on the Young Avengers team, even though Riri isn't typically what you think of her more as like a Champions member, but I think we're probably going to be putting her on the Young Avengers team, is what I'm guessing. But, we've seen the Hawkeye comic kind of go down. Again, her show is past. Her time is, everybody's on, as it is with everything. You get a little bit of a decline afterwards. However, Riri is still building up, and we're still growing to it. I think even in the months building up to the show, these two comics were much more comparable in price, and now you've seen a decline. Does that mean that Hawkeye is, a much more affordable, and we'll see it rise up again when she is in something else? Or, are you going to invest into Iron Man #1, and then it does the same thing after her show or movie? I guess she's a movie in first. I guess that also throws a wrench in things.
Yeah.
But will that cause her to go down afterwards, or I don't know. Let me know what you think.
Yeah, tough one. But I am going to go with Iron Man #1, I think, all day. Because like you said, we're still building up to that character. She's going to be in Wakanda forever, and then obviously have her own Disney Plus show. And since we're still marching forward, we haven't even seen a trailer of her or anything like that. I think that book is due for some real growth. I think Kate, the Hawkeye book will grow again next time we get Kate Bishop somewhere, but her show just ended. I mean, we might be talking 2 or 3 years down the line before we see her pop up again. So I am definitely going Iron Man #1.
It's a good choice. Good choice. I will say both of them absolutely beautiful covers, both stellar. I feel like, and obviously I don't know, but I feel like there's a good chance that Riri will be the more central focus of her own show, where Kate had to split up the time with Clint, which worked out narratively. I don't think anything was wrong at that reason, but because of that, I think there's going to be a lot more interest in Riri. I think her debuting in a movie, especially Black Panther #2, is going to be a big point of interest for many people. And on top of that, I mean, if you just take their derivative characters, you're comparing Iron Man versus Hawkeye. So at the end of the day, I have 1 copy of Hawkeye #1 getting graded, while I already have 3 copies of Iron Man #1 that have been graded, and I have 2 or 3 more getting graded. So I think that shows you a little bit on which side I'm on. But I love that Hawkeye book. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Sure.
Round 3. In the left corner, released in 1981, written by Chris Claremont with art from Michael Golden and Armando Gil, and a cover from Al Milgrom, with a raw value of $115 and a graded 9.8 value of $1,300. We have the first appearance of Rogue, Avengers Annual 10. And in the right corner, released in 1990, written by Chris Claremont with art from Mike Collins and Joe Robinstein, and a cover from Andy Kubert, with a raw value of $200 and a graded 9.8 value of $1,000. We have the first full appearance of Gambit, X-Men 266.
All right, next up, we've got a little bit of a lover's quarrel as we have the married couple Rogue facing off against her beau Gambit. So, Avengers Annual number 10, first appearance of Rogue, or Uncanny X-Men 266, first appearance of Gambit.
That was an interesting one. I own both comics. I own one of them first. And that was 266. I think Rogue unfortunately got shafted a little bit. I think in a couple of ways. One, that cover's atrocious.
Yeah.
It's so busy. There's so much going on. It even has the bonus aspect of it being the first cover appearance of Mystique. Yet that book, I feel like, is hard for it to gain traction. During the early Fox acquisition, and all the hype from X-Men, and you see all these X-Men books shooting up in price, that one really, I mean, it went up, but it struggled a little bit, you know, and I think it still struggles to really gain that huge attraction. The 266 is a great iconic cover, even though it has a little bit of controversy and it's debated on if it was first or this, that, or whatever. But regardless, I mean, that's still the book that is the go-to for Gambit. That being said, also the other little thing going against Rogue is the fact that it is in an Avengers Annual book.
Yeah.
I think that hurts her a lot. Even if it was an X-Men Annual, it would have been better. Ideally, I don't know. I might be just kind of throwing nothing out here, but I think you really want your characters to appear, your X-Men characters to appear in the X-Men line, like the ongoing series. I don't know why that is, but it just feels better. It feels right. I don't know why. Maybe you don't think so. Yeah. Maybe you don't care. But I personally think that kind of has something to do with it. I don't really know why, but the world works in mysterious ways. But yeah, I'm Gambit all day.
Yeah, man, I'm the same way, and I had that same thought. You know, an X-Men and an X-Men versus an Avengers Annual. Why does it make a difference? I don't know, but it does. The cover makes a big difference. But to play devil's advocate, though, I will make a couple of points. One that you already made. There is some controversy about, is this really the first appearance of Gambit? Technically, I don't really think so. I think X-Men Annual 14 has a big role, but besides that, I would have to look in, but I'm pretty sure the print run on Avengers Annual is going to be much lower than an X-Men title that's put out years later. So I think finding a high-grade copy, I had to look this up. This is just guessing, but I think it's probably harder to find, even though I'm sure there's plenty of both of those out there. But yeah, the Annual is an older book. It's in an Annual, which tends to be less printed, so maybe that makes it more rare. But I've got Gambit all day. Also, we know we're getting an X-Men animated series reboot coming up, or continuation, and I think he was such a big central character. I mean, they both were in that, but I think there's a lot of nostalgia from comic fans when that show comes out and they see Gambit again, and then everybody goes flooding back to this book.
I will, I guess, to also play out devil's advocate against myself, it's a fair point to notice that Gambit's not guaranteed. Obviously, in the animated show, sure. But as far as the live-action MCU, we have no idea if they will go to Gambit. I think he's a very good possibility. However, I feel like Rogue is almost 100% guaranteed. I personally think she has a very good shot of showing up in the Marvels movie. But might be later. Who knows? We'll see. But I just think since we have Captain Marvel already established, and I feel like that's a good way to take a character that the general audience is already familiar with, and then change it up to be like, the MCU Rogue does this, and it's like, you know who this is, but we're doing something different with her. And I think that's highly important to the MCU moving forward.
Round 4. In the left corner, released in 2015, written by Kieran Gillen with art from Salvador LaRocca, with a raw value of $150 and a graded 9.8 value of $450. We have the first appearance of Dr. Avra, 000, and BT1. Darth Vader 3. And in the right corner, released in 1999, written by Henry Gilroy with art from Rodolfo DiMaggio and Al Williamson, and a cover from Hugh Fleming. With a raw value of $100 and a graded 9.8 value of $450, we have the first appearance of Mace Windu and the first cover of Darth Maul. Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace 3.
This is another one that I think is the farthest stretch of being like, what are you doing here, Marco? What are these two characters, other than the fact that they're both Star Wars? What do they have to do with each other? And that is, these are two characters I think that are, you could definitely see coming up here and have hints to showing up in Star Wars. Or returning, at least Mace Windu would be a return, and Dr. Aphra would be a first appearance in live action anyway. And so obviously in the Book of Boba Fett, we got Black Chrysanthemum, which showed up in Darth Vader #1, 2 issues before Dr. Aphra. They worked together as well. Could definitely be, and I don't exactly know where what series she could be popping up, because Star Wars is kind of all over the place right now. It could be in a movie, it could be here or there, whatever. But I just think it's like, why would you introduce Black? I don't know. I just feel like that's a good stepping stone to start introducing Dr. Aphra, which is a pretty, fan-loved character. I think it's about time and be a good way to introduce a new face to get people excited. And then the return of Mace Windu is something that's been talked about since Episode 3 came out. I so badly want Samuel L. Jackson coming back with one hand or a robot hand or something. I think it'd be kind of cool if he, grew out his grizzly beard and he didn't even bother getting a robot hand. He's just missing a hand and he's all grumpy and this and that or whatever. I think that'd be amazing. Could maybe even pop up in like the Obi-Wan show coming up pretty soon. There's going to be Inquisitors popping up hunting other Jedi. It could be a good way to, they're hunting Mace Windu and maybe Obi-Wan tries to help him and it doesn't work out. I don't know. It's a little bit tough call to say as far as covers, because I always like to bring up the covers. Darth Vader 3, beautiful. Dr. Aphra with her 2 droids. And then Episode 1, great Darth Maul covers. So both beautiful covers in my opinion. Relatively the same price overall. I will say Episode 1, First Mace Windu, is a much harder book to find. You can easily all day find Dr. Aphra, but this particular issue is one that I think is a little bit trickier and a little bit trickier to maybe get in a high grade as well.
Yeah, so that last point is what almost brings me to Episode 1-3, that it's clearly just a harder book to find, like you said, especially in high grade. And so that rarity almost brings me to that. But ultimately, I am going to go with Darth Vader #3, just because Aphra has a big following without ever showing up in live action. And so again, unless you're someone who's reading the comic books, you don't even know who this character is. And so there's just so much more potential to all of a sudden get a big part of the fan base excited about this character and wanting to buy her comic book. Where, of course, Mace Windu has been around for a while in live action, very beloved. Though, the nostalgia factor of him coming back, people would go crazy. I would go crazy, and I'm sure everybody would. And so both are great specs, I think, and have a great potential to pick to show up. Either of them I could see in Obi-Wan, even, the next thing that I think Star Wars is putting out. But I'm still going to go Darth Vader #3, just because so fewer people know who she is and can really explode as a character.
Fair enough. I have to go Team Mace Windu all day. If for nothing else, just the dream that he will return. At the end of the day, I'm excited to do more of these and potentially maybe even with some other content creators. Maybe even add, a bunch of people. I don't know how many people we could add up in here, but really get some good debate going across. I don't know. I think it's a fun idea, and like I said, I think it's creative or like unique and original. I don't think I've seen anybody else do anything like this or quite like this. So yeah, I'm excited to hear back from everybody. I'll be checking the feedback on your video and on my video to see if everybody enjoyed it. So, thanks everybody for watching, I guess.
Yeah, thanks guys, and look forward to seeing you in the next one.